All right, I'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you? All right, once again, we thank you for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission from our reality to yours. We have thus then arrived at a place where we can now deliver a new tool, a new idea for you to utilize, for you to incorporate, for you to assimilate, for you to integrate within your collective consciousness and your individual consciousness, to apply into your physical reality experience for the purpose of acclimating more readily to the vibrations of acceleration and ascension that are now coming about in your collective energy as you approach the crossing of the threshold that you call 2012. Although, of course, this transformation has been going on for quite some time and will continue for quite some time after that date. This represents, as we say, the tipping of the scales, the crossing of the threshold from one idea to another, the leading edge of the wave of your collective consciousness, tipping the scales from the idea of negative energy to positive energy for the first time in many thousands of years upon your planet. Thus then, with the tipping of the scales to allow for slightly more positive energy collectively to exist on your planet after that date, you can use that energy to accelerate, as you say, to snowball the effect of positive energy, both collectively and individually as you accelerate your shift from parallel reality to parallel reality. Designing, in a sense, within your relationship to higher mind, designing the reality that you prefer and shifting to the reality that already exists, that is more reflective and more representative of the reality, of the parallel Earth reality that you say you prefer, that you say you wish to align to. And remembering that the idea is not just the notion of a wish. It is not just the notion of a visualization. It is also the notion of action, of behavior, of behaving like the person you wish to be in the reality you wish to experience, so that you can ground all these energies like a circuit into the experience of physical reality. For if you continue to the idea of contrary behavior to the visualization of the version of yourself in that reality, it will not anchor that vibration in your experience and you will not shift to that particular parallel reality. It is all about forming a cohesive whole in thought, word, and deed, so that the totality of your being is present and the totality of your being is expressing the actions, the attitudes, the behaviors that go hand in hand with the changes that you say you wish to make within yourselves, but which in a sense are not holistically expressed, if not on every level, every moment. So, as we thus then apply this new information today, please recall all that we have said, not just in this particular momentary event, but in all the tools and suggestions and permission slips that we have shared with you, applying them when and where necessary, every moment, opening up your imagination conduit to the higher mind and forming that relationship with the higher mind, so that in the balancing of the higher mind with the physical mind, you can truly function as a whole person on whatever version of Earth you truly wish to experience. We have in this particular event shared with you the idea of the 11-11-11 gate, and have given you many suggestions for how to use the resonance of that particular energy, those parallel tracks, those parallel lines, that which is considered to be the symbol of reflection, and suggested some ideas for how to utilize permission slips involving mirrors and your own reflections in a variety of ways for you to utilize in whatever way your imagination sees fit. We have thus then also described and explained the structure of the 9 levels of consciousness, so that you can truly understand and incorporate the true relationship between all these levels, and also how it is that from the physical point of view and the conscious mind's point of view, thinking that it is on top, It has created also the shadow reality below it that allows it to think that the feelings and belief systems it seeks to tap into are somehow below, but are truly, now you understand, to be above. And thus then knowing that whenever you seek to connect to the idea of your belief systems to change and shift your reality in the way that you prefer, it is about expanding your energy upward to make the connection rather than going downward into the ideas you have labeled the sub and unconscious minds, which in reality are above vibrationally the conscious mind of thought, which together forms the idea of behavior with the emotions and the beliefs. Using the template level reality, freeing yourself to use it as a blueprint, to change those blueprints, to allow yourself more conscious recognition of your agreements, and to rearrange the idea of the themes that you chose to explore so that you become transparent to yourself in such a manner as to call forth again, acting holistically, the vibrations and the state of being that are representative of the reality you prefer, and in so aligning with those vibrations in attitudes of gratitude and expressions of calm and peace and creativity and love, and acting on your passion every moment that you can to the best of your ability with absolutely zero expectation for how it should all work out. You will thus then be squarely in the center with your magnetic compass needle pointing to your true self, moving forward along the path through the concept of space and time that you have created yourself to experience as part of the way of knowing creation, part of the way of experiencing process, part of the way of expanding your consciousness and imprinting your soul with the idea of a unique spirit that adds to the totality of the experience of how all that is experiences itself. Thus then, this day of your time, we will add now the notion, to cap this off, of what we have called the laws of attraction and repulsion, and the ways in which you use them and the ways in which you can use this very simple but very powerfully profound idea and notion to aid and assist you in accelerating your energy, so that you can match the frequencies coming in, radiating from the leading edge of the collective consciousness as you cross the threshold in 2012, and also so that you may have more clarity and a better capacity, shall we say, to transform very rapidly the idea of any beliefs that you wish to transform, and letting go of those which do not resonate in compatibility with you, and allowing those that do resonate in alignment with your true self to come to the forefront and be incorporated and integrated within the totality of your being. Thus then, let us begin to examine the idea of the laws of attraction and repulsion. Now, we have in some ways covered these ideas from a variety of perspectives and have many times used other words in which to describe these things. And as we move forward in this description and explanation, today of your time, we will also, as usual, to illustrate the point, provide a couple of different permission slip exercises that we will take you through. One to begin with in the first part of this transmission, and one in conjunction with your holotope experience later on as you know time to exist. The idea, however, is profoundly simple. Understanding, as we have already explained on several occasions, that the idea is that you are resonant frequency energy, that your consciousness vibrates at a certain pitch, that you yourself have a particular signature vibration that represents your unique beingness. And this particular resonant vibration, your core vibration, your true vibration, the vibration that represents you as a unique creation, a unique facet of the multidimensional crystal of creation, a unique expression of all that is in a sense a constant vibrational frequency. No matter what you may layer on top of it in terms of your personality structure, in terms of how your beliefs may shift and your feelings may be expressed and your thoughts may play out and your behavior may unfold, always, always, always at your core, There is this signature vibration that goes all the way up the ladder that represents the unique expression, the unique extension of creation that you were created to be. And that is a constant, and it is always with you and is always representative of you. And that is why, as you do continue on your journey in this life, in the idea of the afterlife, in other lives, you will find that the more you integrate and the more you become more of yourself and the more you expand in spirit and soul and the more you take the place in the oversoul and above and beyond all that, into all that is, you will find that the perspective you will always retain will be as if all that integration is happening to you. And this will be the perspective you will maintain even in arriving at the level you call all that is. It will be as if you have become all that is. But this perspective, paradoxically, will be experienced by every single facet of all that is. Each aspect, each facet will experience itself in time becoming all that is. And thus then all that is contains all the pieces experiencing themselves ultimately as all that is. This is the holographic nature and the holographic structure of existence, in that every single piece of the whole contains the whole, can express the whole on some level in some way, so that each piece contains all the information of the whole. And in knowing that, you yourself know that you have all the information you need to be whatever unique experience you have chosen to be, and can know that it is always with you, can always be tapped into, can always be downloaded into you, and you don't really have to go seeking anywhere to find it. It's all here, it's all now, because there is only one moment in creation. Now, 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 and now, always now, never then, never when, never sometime to be. Always it is now, and everything you call a different moment is just the same now from a different point of view. So the idea thus then of the vibrations of attraction and repulsion have been talked about in your society now in recent times with great fervor and great acceleration, because it is now the recognition that this is a true vibratory principle that you can utilize in your life in a variety of ways. That having been said, many of the concepts, many of the ways in which this has been expressed, all well and good, all germane, all perfect for what they are, have in some ways now orbited around the central idea of how this mechanism actually functions. Many of you have a certain idea that when you talk about the law of attraction, you know that if you order your frequency to a certain level, in a sense, if you pattern yourself in a certain way, you will attract those things that are of similar vibration. And in a sense, that is so. And you know that if you allow yourself to be out of alignment with your true self, you will attract things, in a sense, that are of the vibration of misalignment. And in a sense, that is so. And you know that when you have a vibration that is not compatible with something else, you know that the law of repulsion will come into play, in that those things that exhibit more and more incompatibility, vibrationally speaking, will drift farther, 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 and farther apart from each other, until such time as those things that are truly incompatible with one another will simply cease to experience one another, because they will no longer really be sharing any kind of an agreement of the same reality experience. This is the other thing that we have also mentioned about in the crossing of the threshold in 2012, and what we have referred to by analogy as the train station. The idea that you have many tracks and they all go through this station. But after they go through this station, they start to split apart to go to their own individual destinations. And at first, the tracks are still relatively close together after they leave the station. But the longer the train travels, the farther apart it will get from any other train, from any other track. And so it becomes, in a sense, less likely that you'll be capable of shifting from train to train, from track to track, the farther apart the trains and the tracks get. And this is why it is so important now, in this time, to be on the track you really wish to be on. There will be a short amount of time in which you will still be capable of perceiving the other trains, the other tracks, but it will also, in time, be more and more difficult and less probable that you'll be capable of shifting from one track to another, so it is a good idea to make sure that you've bought a ticket on the appropriate train now that it's leaving the station, while you still have the opportunity to experience what it is you say you prefer to experience. Thus, then, this is an analogy of the law of repulsion, in that all these incompatible vibrations will begin to segregate out and push away from everything that is not, in that sense, compatible with it. This idea shows you that repulsion is just as strong an idea, just as strong a force, if you will, as the idea of attraction. And in that sense, without repulsion, attraction will not find the places in which those things that you are attracting can reside. For you must make room for those things that are you by letting go of those things that are not. Now, herein lies the real profound understanding and the core of this idea of the law of attraction and repulsion. Many of you, because again of the way you've been taught to sort of express yourself, to think, to frame things, to label things, to define things in your physical reality, have this kind of a picture in your head that when you vibrate in a certain way, you are attracting something from somewhere else to here. And that when you, in a sense, release something else, you are releasing it, so to speak, from here to somewhere else. Well, of course, many of you now understand that everything exists right here and now. It's not really coming from anywhere else or going to anywhere else. It is, in a sense, simply being rearranged as a ratio of energy, as a balance of energy, as an equation of energy within the consciousness that you are. But you can still use the analogy of the vibration of attraction and repulsion as you have been doing, and at the same time, we would now like to introduce another way of looking at this, another way of imagining this, another way of picturing this, so that you can understand how to let go of any concept of effort or struggle with this idea of attempting to attract and attempting to let go, so that it will help accelerate whatever process you do deem is necessary for you when you plant into this equation this particular variable we are about to introduce. Because you see, this is all about the nature of existence. And you are part of the nature of existence. And in that context, as a part of the nature of existence, there really is no separation between you and existence itself. So the vibrations that we are talking about here of attraction and repulsion, you are really immersed in this energy. It is, in a sense, not separate from you. And because that is so, you can use these principles with the following understanding. I'll just put it to you this way. You are not doing all the work, and you don't have to do all the work, in the following way. The things, the ideas, the beliefs, the concepts, the experiences, the opportunities, whatever you wish to call them, that are vibrating in alignment with your true core self are already doing their utmost to be attracted to you. The ideas, the synchronicities, the beliefs, the vibrations, the opportunities, the situations, the circumstances that are not aligned with that core, radiant, signature frequency that is your true self are doing their utmost to get away from you. The only reason the things that are attempting to get to you don't get to you is that you're keeping them away. The only reason the things that are attempting to get away from you don't get away from you is you are holding on to them and not letting them go. The energy of the law of attraction is not just you attracting things to you. It's the attraction itself being attracted to you, coming to you, desiring to be part of you because it recognizes the vibration that is your core signature frequency and can, by law, do nothing but be attracted to you. The things that are not you cannot do anything but, by law, attempt to remove themselves from the vibration they are not. This is the law. This is the variation of the third law. What you put out is what you get back. But this is the polarity understanding of that third law. That reality itself, existence itself, creation itself, nature itself is vibrating in these ways, and these vibrations can only align with similar vibrations and must move away from what they are not compatible with, unless and because you have been given the free will and the ability to choose to keep something at bay that is attempting to attract itself to you, or hold on to something tightly that is attempting to escape from you. And so everything we have shared with you about getting in touch with your beliefs, refining your understanding of who and what you are, and defining yourself more clearly has been all about the purpose and the focus of understanding how to let go of things that are already attempting to go away, and how to let things in that are already attempting to find you and connect with you. You are not doing the work in that sense of attracting and repulsing. The attraction principle and the repulsion principles are automatically built into nature. You are only doing the work of letting the things in that want to come in and letting go of the things that want to go. That's the work you're doing. You don't actually have to learn how to attract. You don't actually have to learn how to repel. You just have to learn to let in, and you have to learn to let go. That's all you need to do. Now, doesn't that sound a little more simple? All right. So when you understand that all of these things that are truly representative of your core vibration, the things that are representative of the life you say you desire, wish, prefer, would be overjoyed and passionate to live, now that you know they are banging at your door trying to get in, maybe you will let that door open a crack. And now that you know there are things that are not representative of the vibration of your preference at all, things that are wholly incompatible with your core frequency, that are banging on the inside of the door trying to get out, maybe you will open that door a crack, so that what needs to get out can get out, and what needs to come in can come in. All you have to do is open the same door. And the things that need to leave will leave. And the things that wish to come in will come in. You will invite them in, and you will invite them to leave. It is as simple as that. They want to be where they need to be. The vibrations that are incompatible with your signature core want to be elsewhere. The vibrations that are compatible with your signature core want to be with you. The reality that they bring with them wants to be with you. The reality that isn't you doesn't want to be with you. It wants to be where it belongs. Let it be where it belongs. Let it go find its home. Let the things that need to find you come home to you, because they are you. They are your home. They are your frequency. Now you can see with this analogy that you are floating around as individuals in a sea of whirlpools and vortices and eddies that are attempting to locate you. And as you allow them to come in, you will allow them to swirl and spiral into you. And as soon as they begin to swirl and spiral in, when you allow those other things to swirl and spiral out, You will make room for those things that belong with you and give freedom to those things that don't, instead of keeping them prisoner in your dungeon of pain and sorrow and suffering. This is why you have the phrase on your planet, misery loves company. You're holding on to all the things that are reflective of those things that don't belong to you, and thus then create misery, because you think that no one else is knocking at the door, when in fact all the things that would be representative of your joy are out there knocking, going, where is he? Where is she? Why does it seem that no one is home? And that is because you have created, by holding on to those that don't belong in your house, you have created such a cacophony of sound, such an overwhelming volume of sound of all of those individuals being so miserable and chatting in your mind and desiring to get out but not being let out and complaining about it, that you can't hear who's knocking at the door. It overwhelms the sound of that which wants to come in. So, you need to quiet those noises of the things that don't belong, quiet the chatter, and say, you know what? Party's over. It's time for the new party to begin, the one that is more compatible with my vibration. Time for you all that don't belong here to go find the parties you do belong to. Because you see, all things, as we say, serve double duty. And it is not that many of those things are in and of themselves bad or wrong by any sense. It just seems that way because they don't belong with you. And thus then, when you let them find where they belong, they can be transformed into positive energy. And thus then, everyone can be having a positive party simultaneously, by allowing those components to find the correct houses in which they belong, the correct people to whom they belong. So, all of you now with this new understanding that this vibration is a part of nature and is seeking you out, that which is aligned with you, and that this vibration is a part of nature, of those things that wish to move away that don't belong to you, and are attempting to do so, but cannot as long as you use your free will and your belief system to hold on to them. Now perhaps you can relax the idea of feeling like there is something special you need to learn to attract things, and something special you need to learn to let things go. The only thing, as we said, you need to do is let in and let go. You do not need to learn to attract. You do not need to learn to repulse. These things are automatically built into nature, to creation itself. You just need to allow it to operate according to the idea of your true signature frequency. So let us now, for the first exercise, imagine, if you will, by relaxing, taking a deep breath, and closing your eyes, imagine that you are a shiny magnetic metal sphere. You are gleaming, a gleaming, beautiful magnetic metal sphere. And as you know, magnets can both attract and repel. So the idea now is that there are certain other smaller pieces of metal and magnets, some of which are attempting to come toward you, being attracted to you by your energy, some of which are attempting to repel away from you because of the incompatibility of your frequency. Thus then, allow yourself to imagine that this metal sphere that you are has rods extending from it in certain places, and at the end of those rods there is a metal plate, a flat metal plate. And that flat metal plate is keeping at bay, keeping away those pieces that are attempting to reach you. And now imagine that other places on your metal sphere have long, heavy chains. And these chains are attached to the pieces of metal that are attempting to run away from you, to fly away from you. But they can go no further than the length of the chains, and the chains are taut, vibrating, holding on to them. The rods and plates are keeping things away. The chains are holding things back. You are a metal sphere full of rods and chains. Now, allow yourself as this metal sphere to realize that there is a deeper core, that the shell of the sphere is the only thing that has the rods and chains, but that there is a deeper magnetic core deep within this idea and a higher frequency, because remember, deep within actually means higher above. So even though it may seem in the illusion of physical reality to be inside you, deep down, it is in that sense inside you in a higher frequency. It is actually up in energy. And from this sphere within you comes the true core signature frequency. And now that you know, now that you have been told, now that you have received information through the shell to the core, that there are things that you desire, that you prefer attempting to reach you, and that there are things that you do not prefer attempting to get away, you let that energy and that information sink into the core, and you can now sense the core beginning to accelerate upward in vibrational resonance, becoming more and more and more vibratory, higher and higher in frequency, resonating, vibrating, humming with energy. And as it begins to do so, little tiny cracks begin to appear in the outer metallic shell. And here and there, those cracks start to go up the rods and the plates, and the rods and the plates begin to bend, and the chains begin to snap. And as you allow these cracks to radiate outward, and as the rods begin to crack, and as the chains begin to snap, you see and experience all the things being held by the chains flying away from you at the speed of light. And as the idea of all the rods holding away the things that are attempting to get to you snap and break, all of those things crash down onto the surface and shatter the outer metallic core and connect to the inner core, forming a beautiful crystalline surface of a new idea, a new you, one that is harmoniously and perfectly aligned with its true vibratory signature, and expressing that by allowing all the things that are in alignment with that frequency to come and wrap and form this beautiful, transparent, crystalline shell of perfect identity, and allows all the things that are not you to go sailing away at the speed of light, off into the endless void, to find those places to whom and to which they belong. And you are just left as this perfect, beautiful magnetic core, shimmering, humming, and vibrating in this perfect, beautiful, transparent, crystalline shell that represents a pure alignment of your beliefs, your emotions, your thoughts and behaviors, the personality that you are, forming a pure spiritual envelope, a pure spiritual bubble, a pure spiritual crystalline form, taking its cue from the vibration of your core, having no impediment in it, no idea in it of anything that doesn't belong. It is all in perfect harmony, and it resonates and sings in pure crystal tones, feeding back to the core the vibrations in the form of song and light. And the light beams outward and is seen by creation, and creation rejoices in the pureness of the alignment, of the willingness to be perfectly who and what you were created to be. Breathe that in. And with every breath, understand you are energizing this vibration, this image of your true natural self. And that you now know that anything that does not belong to your vibration, you can simply let go and it will go away. Let it go. It doesn't belong to you. And those things you now know that are of your frequency, your core vibrational frequency, are automatically attempting to come to you, are automatically coming to you, are on their way always, and will appear instantaneously in the manifestation if you allow that door, the freedom to be open so that the things that don't belong can leave and the things that do belong can come in. Take the hinges off that door. Remove the door entirely. Allow it to simply be an open doorway, an open gateway to all that you are, and allow all that you are not to be on its way. For through that door, things can pass in both directions. You are free to allow for a free-flowing exchange of energy of that which is you and that which is not to come and go, freely come and go, with no need to hold on to anything that doesn't belong, and no need to try and attract anything that does. You just know that you are perfectly magnetic as long as you are willing to let it in, and as long as you are willing to let go of what doesn't belong, then there will always be a space for that which does belong. But you must make room. You must make room. So make room for that which is you, and bid a fond bon voyage to that which is not. And let it sail free upon the sea of eternity and the sea of synchronicity, so that it may flow with the eddies and vortices and find its natural place, so that there is balance within creation. All things being who, what, where, and when they perfectly need to be in the eternal now, the eternal sea of all that is, floating free, dancing, swirling, diving, splashing, playing, loving, tumbling in perfect harmony with all other eddies and currents, all toward the source of all that is, the source of unconditional love and light that you now reflect with your perfect crystalline spirit sphere and its vibrating magnetic core of your unique truth. Breathe it in and let it out. And breathe it in and let it out. And breathe it in and hold on to nothing. Let it out. And let this be as natural as breathing. For every breath you know you need to take in, that is the law of attraction. And every breath you know you need to let out, that is the law of repulsion. Let this be as easy as breathing. Let it be as natural as breathing. So that all things that want to come to you with every breath. And all things that wish to go away with every exhalation. Let it be the cosmic breath in and out of attraction and repulsion, of that which is you and that which is not. Taking it in, letting go. Taking in, letting go. It is the cosmic breath of creation, the cosmic breath of all that is. Breathe easy. Breathe as one. Conspire with the Creator. Allow yourselves now reconnect to whatever reality you have so deemed you now exist within, knowing that you have in many ways rewired yourself in this perfect crystalline way, that you are a new vibration, a new personality, a new idea, and a new understanding in a new reality, literally, literally, literally. And in this parallel reality now that you have joined us in, that you have agreed to co-create with us, we welcome you to this new reality. We welcome you home. And in return for the gift you are giving us, we ask, in what way in this house may we now be of service to you?
Will I say good day to you this day of your time? How are you?
Well, I guess I'm okay. How are you? Turnabout is fair play, yes?
Well, a wise guy, I see. Well, I ought to step into the fifth dimension and introduce you to my associates, Moose and Rocco.
All right. Greetings to you all.
Greetings. Yes, to three of us.
Good day to you.
Good day. My name is Chris.
If you insist.
I insist.
All right.
And I'm from Tokyo.
Oh, all right.
Thank you. I came here with a question about, as you might say, the sweet spot.
Yes.
Yes. But regarding the sweet spot,
Yes.
you have just wonderfully addressed it.
Yes.
And I'm quite overjoyed.
Thank you for your synchronicity.
Indeed. However, regarding that sweet spot
Yes.
and living in Tokyo,
Yes.
I do have a question. As you know, there was a big event recently that has received much conversation lately.
Yes.
And now we have an issue with radiation.
Yes, to some degree.
To some degree. And so I know now that I can exist in Tokyo as I've been there for half of my life. Okay, and I want to continue to be there.
All right.
Despite...
Speaking of half-lives.
He'll be here all week, folks.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We are here for all eternity.
So now, yeah, lovely. So if I let the good stuff in, then I can go out and eat what I want without
Simply
concern.
know that you will attract to yourself what is compatible with the vibration of your preference.
I prefer pure salad without the plutonium, is what I prefer.
All right.
And so if I can just think that way, then I will be there.
If
Correct.
you truly can, if you can truly believe that way.
Okay.
Now, again, it is always about the path of least resistance. For if you find within yourself that you do still hold on to belief systems that are not necessarily completely what you prefer, but you find that you haven't yet chosen to let go of them, it is important to honor your belief systems and take the path of least resistance, because sometimes it isn't about using the belief to transform it, although it can be, as you say. But if you are offered synchronistically a path that is conforming to your belief systems, let's say, for example, somebody brings you a salad from some other area to you to consume, and you know it has come from an area that has not been affected, that is yet still another way that you can be attracting what you need without necessarily having to overcome the idea of the belief system that may still be intact within you.
I see.
So it's all about the idea of opening all the doors through which those things that are seeking you out can come, and not insisting that it must happen in a certain way, which is actually the act of not letting go of things that don't belong to you.
Understood.
So if you find yourself thus then in this state of knowingness, in this state of willingness, receiving what comes from wherever it comes from, you will then know by being in that state that you will simply utilize whatever is the path of least resistance to which these things can come to you that will fulfill what is preferred by your frequency without necessarily having to insist on exactly how that should present itself or from where it should arrive.
I understand.
Yes.
Okay. And thus,
Yes.
the sweet spot.
Yes.
In this instance, according to my beliefs,
Yes.
perhaps there is a salad, the origin of which can be undetermined.
Yes.
Okay, so in that case, then a permission slip might be appropriate. Would
It might
not?
be. It might be. That's up to you to decide for yourself.
I see. Okay.
These are personal choices.
And if I decide
Yes.
that a permission slip in this case would be appropriate,
Then use it with gusto.
okay, gusto.
Yes.
Thank you. That's my middle name, as a matter of fact.
Oh, all right.
All right. Are you paying attention?
Always.
So in
Yes.
this instance, that permission slip could be, for example, a detoxification program.
It could be.
Okay. Would you agree with that?
The idea is that certain permission slips are representative in general of collective agreements of what will generally work for most of the population so that you don't have to think about it. Thus, then, many such things that are provided by nature and presented in a natural way are effective for many people because they are already representative of belief systems of collective agreement, so you don't have to, as you say, reinvent the wheel. So if it works, use it.
Fantastic. I see.
Does that help?
It
and
helps.
in this context, the idea of detoxification is a direct analogy to what we have talked about in terms of the idea of letting things in that want to come in and letting things go that don't want to be there. Because you see, as long as the cellular structure of the body is holding on to toxins, it actually prevents nutrients from being absorbed. Thus, then, detoxification will make room for the natural nutrients you thus then do accept into your body so that they can then do the work they were designed to do in keeping you in a healed state.
Very well.
Does
Good.
that help?
It helps. And in continuing with the theme of the sweet spot,
Yes.
I was watching a video of a channeled entity.
Yes.
And this entity was asked, if you were here and in physical form, what would you most like to experience? And that entity responded,
Yes.
again, continuing with the sweet spot
Yes.
and letting things in, the entity said, I would have a great deal of sex.
Oh, all right.
And thusly,
Yes.
thank you. That was kind of a delayed reaction. Thank you.
Are you talking about a sexual delayed reaction?
What
Yes.
is the role and what is the function and what sacred sexuality has become quite a topic?
Yes. There are many ways to allow for alignment of the energy systems within the body. Certain forms of sexual expression can be one way to release what is called the Kundalini energy that aligns the different chakra systems of the body and connects you to many different levels of the 9 levels of consciousness vibrationally that we talked about, if done with those kinds of awarenesses and those kinds of intentions.
I see. So that's the methodology.
It can be one way, yes.
Okay. And there are many other ways.
Of course.
Naturally. Okay. Wonderful.
Does that help?
It helps tremendously, and I thank you very much.
We thank you, and we bid you a fond journey back to Synchronous City.
Kind thanks.
Hello, Bashar.
None of you, good day.
Recently I have changed jobs.
Oh,
I used to
all right.
work for a large corporation, and this kind of goes along with I think the attraction and repulsion.
Yes.
It was a great opportunity to change my career, so I've started a new career.
All right,
However,
congratulations.
Thank you. There are certain parts of my old job that I've hung on to, and I get the idea that I need to let those go.
All right.
Cut the chains.
Yeah, it's because they are attempting to move away from
They
you.
are, and I can totally feel that, and
Yes,
I can
tug.
Yes. Now on the new work that I'm starting and getting into,
Which I assume is more representative and more in alignment with your excitement.
absolutely,
All right.
it totally is.
Oh, all right.
And But
What?
there's a but here.
Then you said totally.
It is totally.
But?
Well,
Totally but?
Well, I have a question.
Oh, all right.
The question is sometimes this new line of work, I get job offers, and am I to assume that anything that comes my way in this line of work, that is I'm just supposed to accept?
No.
Okay.
Again, remember, when we talk about the idea of doing what excites you, we also mention that it's important to do it how it excites you the most, where it excites you the most, with whom it excites you the most. All the factors need to be there that are part and parcel of the doing of the thing that excites you. Otherwise, it's not a holistic experience of what excites you.
Wonderful.
Does that help?
Yes, because there were some jobs that have come my way, and I'm like, well,
Yes.
that doesn't excite me.
Well, again, also please remember all the things we have said at the same time. When you act on your excitement, it's also going to simultaneously bring things up in front of your face that are not compatible with your vibration to allow you the opportunity to practice choosing what is and what is not more clearly you. So both will happen. You understand?
Yes. Wonderful.
Because many people on your planet have an easier time of defining what it is they are by seeing more examples of what they are not more clearly. So it's up to you to have the discernment to be able to tell the difference. But your excitement is going to bring both to your attention. Not just one, it will always bring both. Because the more you expand your consciousness, the more aware you become of the side that is not you. Not less aware, the more aware you become of the things that are not you, of the choices that you don't prefer. You don't choose them as much, but you still become more aware that they exist as a choice. Because it gives you an opportunity to allow all things to be equal. And if you're expanding, then you have to know more about the things you are not, as well as more about the things you are, so that you always have the ability to choose on an equal basis. It can't be lopsided. Otherwise, it's out of balance. You understand?
Yes.
So even though you will not necessarily experience the negativity as much, you will actually know more about the possibility of choosing it. That's what the expansion of awareness is all about. But that's different. Just being aware of something doesn't mean it automatically manifests. You have to consciously choose it or unconsciously choose it. You understand?
Yes.
Does that help clarify this process?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I was a little afraid that, because I was turning down certain jobs that, I wasn't doing it right, I guess.
Well, all right. But also remember, it's up to you to have the discernment to really be able to tell the difference between what really is exciting and what could be exciting, but what you may be defining as less than exciting because you yourself may have a belief system that makes it appear more anxious rather than as excitement. So you have to be able to tell the difference and make sure that you're not just pushing things away that could actually be more exciting. Give yourself at least the opportunity to examine whether or not it actually is compatible with your excitement before you simply assume that just because it doesn't feel like it is, that that's truly not compatible with you, because you could be making it feel like it's not for a variety of reasons that you don't necessarily want to hold on to. So as long as you have the ability to discern the difference, explore the difference, and investigate whether it truly isn't compatible or whether you're just making it seem like it's not, once you have truly decided with clarity that it truly isn't compatible, then you can let it go and not worry about it. And that will make room for what is more compatible.
Yes.
All right?
I see.
Does that help?
Absolutely.
Why, thank you.
I've got another question. Recently, I want, because I'm doing what so joys me, so that's so exciting for me.
Yes.
It seems like when I'm in this state of doing this state of joy, I remember and I don't remember dreams. I remember something that's happened to me during my sleep.
Yes. As we said,
I can't really
the more you
discern what it
expand,
is.
the more you will remember about everything that's going on with you.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
No. Because you're in mid-process with this. We don't want to spoil the surprises. We don't want to spill your beans.
Okay, one other thing. When I was a child, probably,
Yesterday?
No.
Oh, all right.
Long time ago.
If you say so.
I was probably about 6, 7.
7 orbits around your sun.
I would have these. It was a time when I was, I guess they call it REM state, almost asleep, but not quite asleep.
Yes.
I would sense this large something.
Yes, this is connected to what you've already asked. And we will not spill the beans.
Okay.
It began then.
Really?
Yes. It's been going on your life.
Wow.
So, have fun, pleasant dreams. Or shall I say, pleasant awakenings.
Is there anything I can do to accelerate it?
I just told you. Continue to act on your highest excitement. Move forward. Anything you need to know, as you've already discovered, you will know when you need to know it. You will not know it a second before you need to know it, but you will not know it a second later than you need to know it.
Yes.
So don't worry about what you don't know. Just move forward and you will receive what you need to know when you need to know it. All right?
Yes. Thank you, Bashar.
Trust the unfoldment of your life.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
I know you. Good day.
During the last 3 months, I have had an expansion of awareness
All right. Congratulations.
and consciousness and feeling so happy, so excited about my life.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
I have helped hundreds of people during this lifetime, and I am seeing doors of opportunity
Yes.
to help even thousands of people
All
now.
right. Well, then act on them if it excites you to do so.
Yes,
All right, thank you.
I am doing so.
Oh, thank you.
I was told that my magnetic field, my aura, it's like a crystal where somebody else in front of me can see himself or herself, and I had the experience.
That's what relationships are for. To be a mirror, to be a reflection for others, to allow them to see what they need to see to become more of their true selves. That's what healers do.
Yes, that's beautiful. And I had the experience in front of 300 people last week that the room were acting like just one
Yes.
being in front of my mirror, in front of me.
Yes.
And it was beautiful.
Yes.
And I was given a crystal that was brought to the United States by a princess from Iran. And that crystal has multiple small facets. And when I look at the crystal, it's like looking at my aura, my magnetic field,
Yes.
where endless possibilities and many different viewpoints
Yes.
are available
Yes.
at any time,
Yes.
any now.
Yes.
And I am feeling that I can experience the parallel realities right here, right now.
Of course.
And I have the connection that being in present time, and it's just so exciting.
Yes. Thank you for your sharing. Now simply continue in your life to act in any way, shape, or form your imagination so desires, in expressing in whatever creative way you wish this recognition and realization of your now excitement. That's
Yeah.
all that needs to be done.
Yes. Bashar, I love you, and I would like to know how can I get in more communication with you between
Yes, of course.
these events?
By continuing to be more of yourself as you're already doing. That's the only way to do it. Be more of yourself, and then you're easy to find, and it's easy to find us. Anytime you're more of yourself, it's always easy to find others who are also being more of themselves. Again, the law of attraction. So
Yeah.
just continue to be more of yourself, and you will encounter more of us and more of many other kinds of beings. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, thank you, Bashar.
Thank you, our unconditional love to you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My great love and appreciation for you and all the laughter I got from your Hall of Mirrors CDs.
All right, thank you. And to you as well. We are always laughing at All Right with you.
Your expertise with our language is fascinating to me.
It is not an expertise with your language. I am not speaking your language. I am sending thought pulses telepathically to the channel. The channel is acting in that sense as a biological translation device.
Thank you. Thank you so much also for your explanation earlier this morning. It's really changed my focus of my questions that I woke up early to ask.
All right.
It so much gave me a permission slip to love and trust myself.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do have some more fun questions I wanted to ask.
All
When
right.
I was a child, I was born on May 3rd, and I had this infatuation with the number 3 and a strong commitment that the number 3 is the best number, the most powerful number.
Well, it certainly is for us.
And so I'm wondering if I have more of an alignment with that number 3 than just an infatuation, as you mentioned yesterday.
In a word, as you say in your language, duh.
Okay.
Isn't it obvious?
Yes.
Then why are you asking the obvious?
Confirmation of what I really felt strongly about at the time when I was young.
From now on, you know you have the capacity to confirm it for yourself, yes?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you.
And one other curiosity question. When
Yes.
you said that you live on your spaceships on your planet, you don't live on the planet.
Oh, we are on the planet quite often. I just said that our spaceships are our cities.
Okay.
We don't have built-up cities on our world, except for a very few structures for very specific purposes, but we're on the planet quite often, and on other planets quite often. But the idea, again, is that we do not build big cities. Our ships are our cities.
Great. Well, that's about it, and I so appreciate being able to speak with you.
Our
And my
appreciation
love
to you as well.
Thank you.
Hello, my good friend.
And to you, good day.
Yes, I'm so excited to be with you. Again,
All right.
yes. I had a wonderful experience about a week ago. I go out to Palm Springs quite often, and I've been in love with the mountain San Jacinto.
All right.
And I found it to be a very spiritual place.
Every place is a very spiritual place.
Yes, absolutely.
But for you, what you're saying is that it resonates to your particular frequency.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And so I speak to the mountain.
All right. And what does the mountain say in return? What is the echo back?
Wonderment.
Wonderment.
Inspiring.
Oh, all right.
It's just,
In
a total love.
inspiring.
Yeah. Yes. Total love. It's
All right.
so when I pass by it, when I go home, I want to bring the energy back. Although it's
The energy is already with you.
yes,
Is already part of you.
Yes.
Is already part of your signature frequency.
yes. Okay.
Always has been.
Yes.
The mountain just reminded you. That's all.
Okay. Well, this last time when I passed by it, right by its feet,
Yes.
I asked it for a secret of the universe or something in the surprise space.
And it said,
And this
I
time,
am the reflection of your higher mind. You are
Yes.
talking to yourself. Or something like that.
I thought that way too.
Yes.
Once or twice.
Yes.
But
Or 3 times, perhaps.
yes. So I looked up after I asked the question,
Yes.
and something always happens right past the mountain, it seems. I looked up, and there was this beautiful rainbow
Yes.
ahead of me.
Yes.
It wasn't just over there. It was right directly in front of me at
Yes.
the edge of the highway I was going to go through,
Yes.
so that I would go right under it.
And?
I'm wondering what that meant.
Well, what meaning do you wish to give it? I can give it certain meanings that may reflect to you, but what meaning do you wish to give it with your own imagination? It's your rainbow.
I thought so.
So what is the meaning you have given it?
That my growth has been tremendous lately.
All right, but keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Yes. It's a simple reflection of a very obvious thing.
I'm stepping into a new moment of...
All right. Simpler than that.
Simpler than that.
Yes, more obvious than that, in other words.
Love.
All right. But the idea is of a rainbow is that it contains...
Oh, all the colors?
Thank you. Thus then, it's a symbol and a reflection that all of your chakras and all of your colors and all your frequencies are acting as one. A very simple reflection. That you are aligned at that moment with all of those vibrations. And that is the vibration of love.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, yes,
And at that moment you are all the colors of the rainbow. Yes?
yes.
All right.
I was.
Simple. You still are if you wish to be. Again, the rainbow is inside you. Yes?
Yes.
Not really out there, it's inside
Yes,
you. Inside your
absolute-
consciousness. Yes?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
So?
Wonderful. I'll keep it there.
Well, thank you. Anything else?
Yes, you were speaking yesterday of the higher, the oversoul.
Yes.
And the various selves that are incarnated, and that we share information. And I was wondering if there was any information that wants to be shared that I'm not receiving.
Go ask your mountain. Seems to be doing a good job already
Okay.
of inspiring you.
Okay. I'll do that.
Since it is a reflection of your own higher mind, why interrupt the dialogue?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, very much. Thank you very much,
Thank
Bashar.
you.
Love you very much.
And you as well.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
This is my first time ever seeing you.
Then it is our first time ever seeing you as well. See how much we already have in common?
Ton. So much.
All right.
Everything this year you talked about how yesterday you spoke with a man about how there's so much emotion coming up this year.
Yes.
And everything in my life is changing and being so I used to think ripped away,
Yes.
but obviously it was trying to get away.
Yes.
I feel like as though like a few years ago I started on this path of trying to or beginning.
You started on this path from birth.
Right, that's a good point.
Thank you. We sometimes have them.
Seems that way. But
you have become more aware.
yes, I began to notice
Yes.
that I was beginning to get closer to
Getting
my true-
closer. Getting closer.
my true
Getting more
vibration.
alignment. Yes.
Yeah,
All right. Congratulations.
I know it's exciting, but
Yes.
it hurts a lot.
If you say so.
And-
Remember that pain is just resistance to the natural self. Stop resisting the change. It won't hurt.
Do you feel that at times when someone is not, or that when I was not recognizing my true vibration and something was attracted to me that I feel was on more in alignment with my higher vibration, that was just a mirror for me to see what I needed to let go?
It can be, yes. Often that's what relationships are for. You attract what you need to see to become more of yourself, and sometimes that is a recognition of what is not you. Make
And
sense?
sometimes those things need to leave, huh?
All the time they need to leave if they are not you. The idea, again, is that's the most loving thing you can do, because you're allowing yourself to be truly you, and you're allowing what is other than you to be truly what it chooses to be, or to be given the opportunity to change itself as well, but not because in any way, shape, or form you have to be responsible for it. You're only responsible to everyone else to be your true self. and let everyone decide whether or not they wish to actually be with the true you. If you're not being your true self in any relationship, then you are not actually in a relationship with anyone anyway.
That's a good point.
Thank you. There's another one. These points just keep popping up. I can't help it.
I just feel like I'm on like this huge tidal wave
Yes, very good.
of realization, and
Then get on your surfboard and ride it.
that's so funny. I surf.
What a coincidence.
Yeah. And I haven't been surfing lately, so you're right.
Time to surf some more in variety of ways. Get on that leading edge, get on that wave, and ride it out. Because that is your glory.
Okay.
That is your grace.
Oh, there's that word.
Is your passion. That is your joy. All right?
Thank you.
Does this help?
A bunch.
A bunch. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Thank you. And by the way, you're not good, you're great.
Hi,
And to you, good day.
I just was introduced to you yesterday.
Speak up so that all may hear what you have to share.
Is this good? Yeah? Okay. I have, my entire life I felt kind of like I've been being watched, but
Well, you are. All of you are.
so this last, I don't know, year to 2 years, I've felt very strongly, pretty sure that my thoughts are being listened to and influencing others, and there's
They're
actually...
not influencing others.
Okay.
You cannot influence someone who does not choose to be influenced.
Okay, are my thoughts, can you explain a little bit more about my thoughts being read and...
Your thoughts, in a sense, are being listened to by your guides.
Okay. And so am I really close to my guides then?
You're all close to your guides. Whether you know it or not is up to you.
Okay. So if I feel like they're there and then
They are there.
then I'm...
You see, on that side, it is timeless. Once you, in that sense, vibrate to the idea that they are there, they are instantaneously there for you. Now, of course, a guide is doing its best job when it allows you to be your own best guide. So they will remain somewhat unobtrusive in the work that they do, using your reality to guide you, using synchronicity, what you call coincidence, to guide you, using many forms of communication to guide you. But they will always make sure that however they guide you, they're always guiding you into being your own best guide, guiding you into being more of yourself, because that's the whole point. They're not there to do things for you. They're there, in a sense, to guide you into more of yourself, so you know you can do more things. Make sense?
Yes. And
Yes.
as far as the guides, it's hard for me to imagine them. Can you help me imagine them better?
It's not difficult to imagine them at all. Why do you insist that it's hard for you to imagine them? Do you assume that you have to imagine them in a certain way and that you're not doing it that way, that something's wrong? That you should be imagining them in a particular way? You don't have to imagine them in any particular way. You know they're there, yes?
Yes.
Is that not enough?
Yes.
You can use your imagination to imagine that they're there in any way, shape, or form you wish. You could set two little marbles down on a table in front of you and say, "Hi, guides." You could draw them on a piece of paper in whatever way you imagine they might appear to you and say, "Hi, guides." You can look in a mirror at your own face and say, "Hi, guide." You can do it however you wish. It's up to you. There is no right or wrong way to do this. They don't mind. You know they're there, so however it works for you to develop the relationship, however it works for you to represent the relationship, music, art, thoughts, pictures, feelings, whatever way you want to feel represents your connection to the guides is absolutely the way that works best for you. There's no one way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, in your imagination, what are you attracted to in terms of the idea of representing your guides if you feel you actually even need a representation at all?
I've been playing with the idea, with a lot of different ideas. So I'm.
And are you attracted to one more than another?
I think I like playing with the idea a lot. So
Maybe the idea of playing with ideas is the way you relate to the guides. Maybe that's the way they are communicating with you, through the ideas that you play with.
okay. Okay.
Does that work for you?
It does. Can you expand a little more on, because I'm just introduced to you and I was really interested in the hybrid children
Yes.
that you had spoken of. And it seems like there's been some sort of communication to me about hybrid children.
Yes.
And
Well, you're connected to some degree to that particular program in terms of your genetic material existing in the creation of hybrid beings.
okay,
How do you feel about that?
that's exciting.
Oh, all right.
That's exciting. Okay. And
Yes.
there was another.
Is that it?
A little bit about, it feels also like I'm making contracts,
Always.
collective contracts with future selves or parallel,
Yes.
and it's hard to understand that, and it feels
It
like
is not difficult to understand if you simply know that appointments and agreements and contracts have been made. All you need to do is move forward, taking action on the things that excite you the most, and any appointments you have made will unfold in your life in perfect timing. You don't have to necessarily know much about them before they actually appear or unfold in your life.
Okay,
They're on automatic. Just trust them
okay,
and act upon them in whatever way is most exciting when any agreement or contract presents itself to you.
okay.
All right?
All right, thank you.
Does that help you?
It does. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Ha'atu Bashar.
And to you, Ha'atu.
I remember in the Esasani story, Holotope meditation, you spoke about the 6 hybrid races.
5.
5?
You being what's becoming the 6th.
Okay.
5 that already exist, 1 in transition.
Okay, thank you. 5, and over a period of 1,000 years, them coming together and creating a 7th hybrid race, a new race.
Yes.
Can you share with us those 5 hybrid races and the events that will take place over the 1,000 years, some of them, and a little bit about the 7th race?
We are, of course, one of the hybrid races. The beings we have referred to as the Shalanaya that call themselves the Yael, which will be the first hybrid race to make contact with your planet in terms of an open contact forum, are another one. There are 3 more worlds of hybrid beings. We are not allowed to discuss much about them at this time. The idea, of course, is that you are becoming the 6th hybrid being, species, planet in that sense, and it will be an admixture eventually of the humans you are now and the hybrids that will ultimately, as children, wind up on your planet, creating more and more and more of, in that sense, an interblending of DNA. Thus then, altogether eventually, over the course of the balancing of your world and the expressions of your world, over the next 1,000 years, you, in a sense, will be joining what we call the Association of Worlds, and you will also undertake your own interactions with other worlds, becoming their guides, becoming their UFOs. And in that sense, uplifting them in a certain way. And as you do this, and as you explore and adventure out into the stars with us, you will thus then, in joining with us, help create in a very specific way a new 7th hybrid race that is something that will exist in another dimensional plane altogether, that will be like the expression of an oversoul, in a sense, of all the other 6 hybrid races.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your expansion there.
All right.
I have heard that you emanate between 1% and 5%. April said that earlier today. And
We come through the channel with only about 1 to 5% of our energy so as not to blow the channel up.
Right. Now,
or you.
You're okay. And does that change through each person that comes and interacts with you? Or is that like an overall? It
does, as there is more and more integration also within the channel and more acclimatization of our energy in your world. The percentage will raise and raise and raise and raise. But you will find that when it becomes something in and around 10 to 11%, then will be the time when it will accelerate in a different way, in a different direction, and be expressed and reflected by more members of your society in such a way as to also allow for the idea of open contact to begin to take place. There may still be certain buffers that exist between us in those contacts at first to again make sure that the acclimatization to the higher vibration is something that you can handle. But at least it will be sufficient for the idea of the beginning of contact in the way we have expressed it, once it reaches about that frame rate, shall we say.
Okay, thank you. And what percentage are you giving off right now?
3.5.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more question, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yesterday you spoke about the hybrid children coming down on Earth, and there will be colonies where they'll be interacting and coming out and interacting with everyone else. Now, I feel and I have seen myself on the ships visiting, like as they come down, I feel that we're going to go up.
There will be some exchanges, yes. Those exchanges now exist, but they exist in what you would call your dream state, your out-of-body state, your non-physical state, your transference state, in the template level reality. But as the hybrid children come down to the earth, there will be opportunities for some of those exchanges, some of those visitations to be physicalized.
Yes, and I feel that very strongly.
So do we.
Is there a time period you could give us in that?
As we have said, most likely you will find that many of these things will begin to happen as we read the energy that exists now. The probability is, again, between your year of 2025 to 2033, that many of these things will unfold.
Okay.
After your year of 2015 and to 2017 will be the beginning of the understanding that such things might eventually come about. But you will find there still is required some degree of process and acceleration so that there is time given for certain things and situations and circumstances and structures on your planet to change sufficiently to allow for the higher probability of open contact to occur.
Okay, thank you.
But by the time your year of 2037 rolls around, you will finally be, as a society, the beginning stages of being an honorary member of the Association of Worlds. And in a sense, your training will begin in earnest. So that by your year of 2050 and 2100, you will be among the stars, doing work in similar fashions to what we do with other worlds. The first of which that you will, in that sense, interact with in the way that we interact now with you, will be a civilization that orbits around a star that you name Barnard's Star.
Oh.
You will be their UFOs.
Wow.
They are now, in their technology, just emerging from and around the area that is similar to what you would call their Renaissance period.
Wow. Well, thank you for that information.
Yes.
And one last question. Why is the contact quartz crystal green? Maybe you've answered this already, but why?
It is specific to the vibration of the heart chakra, because contact is from heart to heart.
Ah, okay. Well, thank you very much, Bashar. Ha'atu.
Ha'atu. Though minds may be different, though physical forms may be different, and in that sense you will find it is through the heart that we find commonality, and thus then know that as spirits we are one. This is what is actually said before the crystals on our planet. Though minds may be different, though body forms may be different, it is through the heart that we recognize our spirits are one. This, in a sense, you might say, is a saying that is germane to first contact specialists on my planet. Though the minds may be different, though the body forms may be different, it is through the heart that we recognize our spirits are one. Thank you. Yes.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Thank you for this. It is leading entirely in what I wanted to say. I have been
How synchronous of it.
I have been once too shy to say, but I would like to...
You shy?
I know, it's difficult to believe, but I have, and I want to acknowledge you as
right.
my family. And I would like to send you my love.
Thank you.
And I would also like to thank you for welcoming us home.
Thank you. It is our pleasure to welcome our family home. All of you.
Yeah. Speaking of home.
Yes.
I have just moved to Sedona.
Oh, all right. Congratulations. How exciting.
I know. Are you still there?
Yes.
Aha. And now, could you tell me why I couldn't resist coming to Sedona?
You don't already know the answer? Didn't we explain the idea of the law of attraction? The work that excites you requires connection to many different dimensional levels, which are represented in that very powerful vortex on the planet. It is a transformational vortex, unparalleled in its own way, unique in its own way, that allows for communication, connection to multiple dimensions of reality on your world.
Understood. Thank you.
Was that really a surprise?
No, it wasn't, but it's good to hear from you.
Oh, all right.
Thank you, as a reflection. The other question I have is regarding the Mamos, the people of Colombia.
Yes.
Their high priests are the Mamos, as you know, who stay in isolation, and not so much in isolation, but in darkness for 9 to 18 years.
Yes.
In order to become Mamos.
All right.
They regard themselves as the keeper of the heart of the world. And again, we're speaking about heart. Can you give us some more information about the Mamos and why they're coming out now?
Because it is time for the heart of the world to open, for all of your hearts to open. They are keeping that vibration in the world so that you will not forget it, so that you will recognize it, so that they will reinforce and amplify it, so that you will be willing to let it free, to let it out.
I see. Thank you.
This is an ancient tradition from ancient times, handed down from generation to generation, and also something that connects to higher plane spirits and the stars. They are carrying on traditions that are very, very ancient.
Okay, that answers my question.
Why, thank you.
Thank you, Bashar. My love.
One moment. One moment. One moment. We have descended to 2,300 miles above Sedona. Those that know what this means will understand that it is representative of the crossing of another threshold. That means that the vibration on your planet is shifting to be something more compatible with ours. Thank you for allowing us an avenue and a doorway into a new reality with you. Proceed.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
My heart to yours.
Our heart to yours as well.
You've answered many of the questions I brought here today with so much of your information in the last 2 days.
Thank you for allowing us to reflect what you already know.
There is one area.
Yes.
That still is, I'm sure, connected to all of this and the law of attraction.
All right.
And for me specifically around income generation here.
Abundance.
Abundance issues, yes.
And you know our definition of abundance, yes?
That which excites me most.
The ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it.
Yes.
Period.
Period.
No matter in what form it comes.
I am sometimes, as of late, less sure of that I'm doing what I need to do when I need to do it, perhaps.
Are you acting to the best of your ability on your highest excitement every moment that you can with no expectation whatsoever?
Not always. There are expectations at times, yes.
All right. Now, this is different from the idea of expectancy as a vibration of recognizing that certainly there must be consequences to certain choices. We're not talking about the mechanical recognition that certain things result from certain things that are set in motion. We're talking about the idea of expectancy or expectation as an insistence that things must appear in the way you imagine they must in order for it to have the same meaning that you wish to give it, instead of allowing the higher mind to bring it to you in whatever form actually works best for you, and knowing that if you do that, the higher mind may actually provide you with a manifestation that is even greater than you were capable of imagining. That's why it is important to drop the expectation, because the expectation may actually limit the ability of the higher mind to bring you what it could by your insistence that it should only come in a certain fashion. You see, the visualization that is generated from your physical mind is only there to function as a symbol of the idea, and it's there for the purpose of generating the energy of excitement that that idea represents. The energy being the most important thing that will allow the higher mind to then use that energy to bring you the physical manifestation that may actually look different than you imagined it, but which will be the physical manifestation that actually represents the energy generated by the symbol of the visualization that the physical mind was capable of generating. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, it may be possible sometimes that the manifestation will seem to match the visualization image that the physical mind conjured up, but that can be misleading because it may lead you to think that it always must match. And in fact, it very rarely matches that idea. So the idea is to open up and allow the higher mind to actually show you what the real manifestation needs to be that is representative of that true core vibration that is generated by that visualization image. But you must remember that the physical mind doesn't know how things are going to happen. It's not designed to know how things are going to happen. Only the higher mind knows how things are going to happen. The physical mind only knows how things are happening. It's only designed to perceive what has been received by the higher mind. It cannot generate, in that sense, the conceptual idea of how that's going to come about. So it just needs to receive by setting up the energy frequency by using this symbolic visualization. It sets up the receiver point. And thus then the higher mind goes, you have created a space for what I now can send you. And thus it will send it. But if there is too much condition placed on that receiver point, too much insistence and limitation placed on how exactly the manifestation should occur, then you actually diminish the energy of the receiver point and make it much, much more difficult for a higher mind to give you something so big that it will now no longer fit in the receiver point that you have shrunk. Higher mind goes, sorry, can't send it to you. Your receiver point's not big enough, because you're putting too many conditions on what should manifest at that receiver point. Make sense?
Yes. Sounds like I just need to let go of a lot of things.
Yes.
Step into the unknown and...
Yes, the unknown is your friend. Remember, the only thing you will ever discover in the unknown is more of you. That's the only thing that exists in the unknown. There is nothing else. You understand?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, it does.
And
thank you. And it's a pleasure to finally speak with you and meet you with some words.
It is our great pleasure as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tadeo.
Nania.
When you were speaking earlier about the timeline for contact and interactions to becoming part of the Galactic Federation,
Yes.
I was wondering how that corresponds to what's happening on our planet in terms of the deforestation, the pollution, and the
Remember that we are
extinction.
talking about the shifting to a parallel Earth. Yes?
Yes.
We're not talking about what's happening on the planet here now.
Well, yeah, that's what's so interesting about it, because, of course, the planet that we're on now is accelerating towards greater and greater extinction and
Yes. And some versions of the Earth will continue on that path. But some versions of the Earth already exist that have nothing to do with that path. And it's up to you, as we talked about the diverging train tracks, to be on the train that's going to the Earth that is more representative of what you prefer it to be. You will experience that in a variety of ways. Sometimes you will experience it as if your world has changed, as if people are changing their minds and doing different things. But you can also experience it as if none of that has ever actually even happened. You can actually step into worlds that never have had those experiences. But because of your, shall we say, familiarity with the linear space-time framework, many of you are going about this gradually and creating these changes, shifting to these realities by creating the illusion that only one world is slowly changing, when in fact you're shifting to other realities billions of times a second that are truly discretely different Earths all the time. So, depending on how much of a degree of difference you create in the vibration of the Earth you shift to, you can experience it as people changing slowly, people reversing what they have done, if you wish to experience it that way. But ultimately, all you're doing is experiencing different realities that are simply behaving differently because they are a reflection of the change you've made within yourself to take yourself to that particular reality.
So does that mean that we could have benchmarks by paying attention to the whole ecological and conservation side of the planet, that would be indications to us that we're on the correct Earth that's moving towards the contact experience?
You can use it as benchmarks in that way if you wish, yes.
Interesting.
Does that help?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as far as, since the situation is getting more and more critical,
yes,
how, when that first shift might be seen that would
But shifts are going on now.
Right, but you know what I'm talking about, a literal reversal of the direction that's going.
If that's the way you wish to see it, you can begin to recognize that there are already reversals in that reality.
That's true. And so some of these significant events, like what happened in Japan, are part of our learning process to get us to change our mind about how we treat our planet.
Yes. And to choose other things that are more representative of the kind of relationship you wish to have with the world and energy and power and all these concepts. Harmony. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help?
Yes, this helps a lot. It's really exciting how many people are here from other parts of the world. It's quite encouraging.
It's exciting how many beings are here from other parts of the universe.
How many would you say are tuned in right now?
Including our world?
Yes.
457 billion.
And thank you, Tadeo.
You are welcome. Thank you, Nania.
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
I have several personal questions.
Start with what you believe is the most important. We will see from that point what other questions may or may not be necessary.
Okay. I am having kind of hard time.
Congratulations. How exciting.
I'm trying to find my passion.
You are finding, not trying, you are finding.
Okay, I'm finding my passion, but I couldn't find it yet.
Remember, you're making it too complicated. When we talk about the idea of acting on your excitement, we're only saying it has to start from the very simple level of at any moment looking for what carries the most excitement out of all the things you are capable of doing at that moment. It doesn't have to be a career. It doesn't have to be a job. It doesn't have to be a project. It can be moment to moment. That's the way to start. We will assume that you chose to be here today because that's the choice that excited you the most out of any other option you had. Yes or no?
Yes.
Then you see how easy it is? That's all you need to keep doing. When this event has concluded, you will be presented, obviously, in your life with another bunch, as you say, of options. Choose the one that's the most exciting, that you have the greatest degree of ability to take action on, and take action on it with no particular expectation. And then the next moment keep doing that, and the next moment keep doing that, and the next moment keep doing that. And that excitement, like a thread, will lead to all other circumstances synchronistically to allow your excitement to grow, which may eventually develop into a passion project, which may eventually develop into what you call a career, or not. It doesn't really matter. But you don't have to define your excitement in such a narrow way. Anything that you act on that contains the highest excitement in that moment is acting on your highest excitement. That's it. All excitement leads to all other excitement. So if anything else needs to grow from it, it will. But the only way it can do so is if you're willing to take the step every moment on whatever excites you the most, so that it will function like a series of stepping stones that will lead you to the next most exciting thing. And your excitement will always grow and expand, and you'll be given more and more opportunities synchronistically to act on bigger and bigger and bigger expressions of your excitement. That's how it works. So it really doesn't make sense that you cannot ever act on your excitement if you simply start simply. You understand?
Yes, I do.
So you've already proven you can do it by choosing to be here today. So just keep doing those kinds of things. Keep making those kinds of choices. And don't stop. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Is that too simple for you?
It is too simple, but
why do you insist that it needs to be more complicated? Why do you insist it needs to be more complicated?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I really don't know.
Yes, you do. You really do. Anytime you make a choice for one reason and one reason only, because you have a belief that says that choice somehow serves you, benefits you. That means that if you keep choosing things that actually don't serve you, but you keep choosing them, it means you believe they serve you even if you know they don't. Remember, knowing is higher than belief. You can know something doesn't serve you, but you can believe and keep believing that it does. And as long as you keep believing that it does, you'll keep choosing it. Which means you've attached a belief to that thing that makes it seem like it's to your benefit, even though you know it's not. So you have to find out what the belief is you've attached to that thing that would make it seem like the thing to keep choosing, even when you know you don't want to. But when you find out what that belief is that makes it seem logical to keep choosing that thing you say you don't really prefer, then once you identify that belief, you will see that it's nonsensical, that it makes no sense, and you'll let it go. But you have to find and identify what that belief is that makes it seem logical to keep choosing something you know you don't prefer. You understand?
I think I do.
You think you do. I'll give you an example. Many people on your planet, as we have already discussed, present to us the idea that they have abundance issues. The idea being that perhaps they were brought up with conflicting belief systems. Perhaps they were told that they will not be successful unless they make a lot of money on your planet. While at the same time, perhaps they've also been taught that the love of money is the root of all evil. So if they have a stronger belief in the idea that if they make a lot of money, they will become an evil person, and they really, really, really don't want to be an evil person, then they will do everything in their power to avoid making money because they've attached a belief to money that it is evil. But once they recognize that that's just a belief they've attached to the idea of money and realize that it really makes no sense, then they don't have to believe that and let that belief go, then they will know I don't have to be an evil person to attract abundance and wealth to me in a variety of forms. That doesn't make me evil. So once they have clarified that idea, then they will no longer operate that way. They will no longer see things that way, and their reality will change accordingly. Does that make more sense?
Yes, it does.
Does that help you then?
It helps.
All right. Do any other questions remain?
Yes.
Or are these the same questions in different clothing?
Actually, I have a question about one of my dreams.
Yes.
I had a dream about a month ago.
Yes.
I saw my sisters and one of a great leader for my country in history, and we were talking to each other.
What is your country?
Turkey.
All right.
So I've never seen him before in my dream, as far as I remember.
All right.
So I would like to ask if it has any meaning.
Of course it all has meaning because you give it meaning. But it is symbolic of your desire and your wish to allow for a certain kind of acceleration and unification to begin to spread in that kind of area on your planet, in that part of your world. You can also help with this if you wish to share new ideas with the individuals in that area in a variety of ways and give them the options and the opportunity to explore new ideas. But there will be also other beings that will come forth, other people on your planet that will come forth to express many of the new ideas we are talking about here, but they will express them in slightly different ways as befits the belief systems of those areas. So you are recognizing that shifts are happening, changes are occurring in the collective consciousness that will give rise to a variety of individuals who will express new ideas in a variety of ways as befits the different belief systems on your planet. You're sensing that shift, you're sensing that change, specifically with regard to the vibration of the area you are familiar with, that you're connected to.
And there was an earthquake about 3 months ago.
Many
in
people love
Turkey.
to shake themselves awake because they don't do it in any other way. If they will not do it smoothly, they will do it jarringly, but they will do it.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand?
I do.
Does that help you?
It helps.
Anything else?
So how can I find the way to...
I just told you.
Okay.
Act on your excitement to the best of your ability with zero expectation for how it must play out, and simply express yourself through joy just because that's your birthright to do so. You don't need another reason to be happy. Just be happy because that's what you prefer.
So you
Unless,
say,
of course, you don't.
because of my expectations, I'm kind of blocking.
You can. But if you understand that the higher mind is the one in charge of how things will play out, and you trust the higher mind and form a trusting relationship with the higher mind, then all you need to do is set up the idea of the energy that represents your true self and let the higher mind fill it with the manifestations that are most representative of the true self. That's why you don't need expectations. You understand?
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Well, thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Last question.
Yes.
I lost my mom 15 years ago when I was 13.
All right.
I would like to ask if she is incarnated.
It doesn't matter if the being has or not, because remember that all lives exist at the same time. The spirit can create the illusion of reincarnation, but all incarnations exist at the same time, and at the same time, all people that are in spirit all the time. So you can still contact her in spirit, and at the same time, the spirit has also decided to experience what you call another incarnation. But all those things exist at the same time. Does that make sense to you in your three-dimensional reality?
I think so.
So, you can understand that she is still having a spiritual experience at the same time she's also having another incarnational experience. But that incarnational experience also exists at the same time as the incarnational experience she had as your mother. Because all things happen now. All lives exist at once. They're just on different frequencies, much like your television programs. All the programs at any given moment all exist at once, but you only perceive the one your channel's tuned to. That doesn't mean the others don't exist at the same time. Just because you experience it one program after another linearly doesn't mean they actually exist one thing after another. Make sense?
Yeah, makes
So-
sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a good day.
I'm delighted to be here, and thank you for all the comments.
You are delighted? What happened to the light? We are playing with you.
Indeed. I want to ask a question about time.
Yes.
Which follows on perhaps a little bit from what you were just saying. So I seem to have an understanding of linear time,
Yes.
the concept that things can exist in the
They
now.
can experience linear time as an experience. Doesn't really exist unto itself, but you can create the experience of linear time by shifting through multiple parallel dimensions of reality billions of times a second. Each reality is static, timeless, no time at all. But as you shift your consciousness from parallel reality to parallel reality billions of times a second, the degree of difference between the different realities, the degree of difference in their shape and in their vibration as you pass from reality to reality creates the illusion you call the movement of time and change.
Is there such a thing as spiritual time?
There is a degree of time experienced on the spirit realm, but on higher levels it is quite timeless.
So how
There are layers of this. And as the layers go up, there is less and less experience of time as you know it, or time is experienced in a very different way.
So how can there be change with everything changing if you take out the concept of time? Because
there isn't. That's the point. One of the reasons why consciousness changes its vibration into the denser levels of reality is to experience change. The idea is that on the higher levels that are timeless, everything is experienced all at once. There is no real sensation that you would call change. Change is unique to the idea of the experience of time. But that's a valuable experience to have since it does exist as a part of creation, a part of all that is. Therefore, the way to experience change and process is to create some degree of the concept of time.
the concept of a spirit having a particular vibrational level,
yes,
that is the hallmark of it, a vibrational level itself implies measurement of time against something. How do you have a vibration without some time reference?
Well, that may be very difficult to explain in third density reality. Nevertheless, there are timeless areas where there is no experience of the passage of time, and yet from your perspective, they operate at a discrete vibrational reality level because you're seeing them from your temporal perspective. That's not necessarily how they're experienced from the level in which there is timelessness. Because from the level in which there is timelessness, they don't necessarily make a difference. There is no difference. There is not necessarily on those levels the difference or the concept of one thing and another. You understand?
I'm seeking to take it in.
Well, it may again not really be something you can completely absorb from a temporal perspective. You can't experience it from a temporal perspective. Therefore, there will perhaps be some lack in understanding.
Is all that is continuing to evolve within itself, within its own?
Yes, through the experiences of all that it is.
Does that not inherently imply time as being relevant?
Not as you know it. No, only from your perspective. Yes. It implies time from your perspective. It implies time from your level of experience. It doesn't apply to the idea of the level of all that is in the way that you experience it. But we understand that it would seem so from your linear perspective. But that's not how all that is experiences itself. Perhaps let me put it this way. Imagine for the moment, if you will, that you become a different person. And imagine for the moment, if you will, that the definition of that person includes certain attributes. And imagine for the moment, if you will, that in becoming that person with these attributes, then there is absolutely no indication, no memory, none whatsoever of ever having been anything else. How would you thus then make a comparison? And how thus then would you experience time if there is no way to make a comparison? Because if you are truly filling the entirety of creation and there is nothing else but what you are right now, then there's nothing to compare yourself to because nothing else has ever been. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
All right.
It's just seeking to wrap some understanding around
All
that.
right,
So I shall look forward to listening to the recording of this.
All right.
Bashar, thank you very much for that. My life has been unfolding in a very joyous way.
Congratulations.
Recently. And I follow the principle of greatest excitement and without particular expectation, which I thoroughly enjoy.
Thank you.
Is there any specific that you have as a suggestion for me from your viewpoint that I might pay attention to?
Nope.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We shall now allow for a short break to prepare yourselves for the Holotope meditation. Relax. Hey, let us continue the transmission in the following way. Relax. Take a deep breath. In and out. This particular exercise and meditation will thus then call upon you to keep your eyes open and focused in the center of the holotope, absorbing through your eyes, even as you listen to the meditation, all of the colors, all the sights, the sounds, the feelings, the experiences, the vibrations. And understand that this is a mirror reflecting to you the eye of creation, a reflection of your true form in energy, the idea of your higher mind looking back at you, communing with you, and you with it. So breathe in a relaxed fashion as you begin to lower your lights, bring up your color and music, softly, gently. Allow yourself to melt away, drift away, and allow your sight to remain focused on the center of the energetic matrix before you. Just soaking it up, soaking it in. And as you breathe easily and deeply and gently, and relax your body, your mind, your spirit, your heart, we will tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a person so afraid of life that they sealed themselves up in a deep, dark cave. And they sealed the entrance to that cave so nothing could get out and nothing could get in. And there they dwelt in darkness for a long, long, long time. But one day, after they had spent countless days, countless months, and countless years forgetting the outside world, forgetting that anything existed but the darkness of the cave. One day, one surprising day, a flicker of a memory of the outside world entered their mind. They did not know from where it came. They thought perhaps for a moment they were going mad. But then that flicker turned into a brighter and brighter and brighter memory that once upon a time there was something else, something more than the darkness of the cave, something beyond their little world, something beyond themselves. And as day by day by day, this idea of another place and another time grew within them, grew from a spark to a burning bright light, they began to realize that there might be something beyond the walls of the cave. But still they were afraid to unseal it and find out, for they were afraid of the unknown outside that entrance. Afraid there would be nothing, afraid there would be annihilation. Afraid, afraid, afraid. And the fear that they generated, even as the light grew brighter, began to split off little fearful clumps bouncing around beside them in the cave, little tiny beings running around in fear and confusion. And these little beings, realizing that now they were trapped in this cave with this person, sought any way, any crack, any crevice by which they could escape, but they found none. And so they grew and they grew and they multiplied and began to fill the cave with more and more and more fearful little beings, yelling and running and crying and sobbing and screaming, pleading to escape, but no escape came, for the person would not unseal the cave. And one day the person wandered to the entrance to make sure it was sealed tight, and they thought they heard a small sound, and they put their ear to the seal, and they could hear very faintly something knocking, trying to get in. And they backed away, experiencing even more fear. And they secured the entrance to the cave to make sure nothing from the outside would ever come in, for they greatly feared what that would be and what they would find. And they greatly feared that it would come in and it would consume them, and they would be destroyed. But the little ones in the cave that were with them kept crying, let us out, for we do not belong here with you. We must seek where we fit. We must seek where we belong. No, said the person, no, I am too afraid to open that door, for if you rush out, something else will rush in, and it will consume me and annihilate me, and I will be no more. No, 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 said the little ones, there is something beyond. If it wants in, it must belong here as we belong elsewhere. No, 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 said the person, and kept them within. And so, bit by bit and day by day, the little ones that were split off from its fear in the darkness grew and grew and grew until they filled the cave. And as they filled the cave and became more desperate to leave, they began banging against the cave wall, against the seal of rock that had been placed there by the person. And as they banged and banged and banged against that seal, day after day after day, there raised such a noise and such a vibration and such a ruckus that it began to deafen the person in the cave, but still they refused to open the seal. And day by day, the noise became greater, and day by day, the pounding became greater, both from within and without, as those within tried desperately to escape, and those without tried desperately to come in. And bit by bit, as the numbers grew, both within and without, they pounded against that seal, and day by day, the pounding began to chip away, wear away at that seal. Bit by bit, day by day, more and more, that seal grew thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. More and more grew the pile of rubble, the pile of dust on the inside and outside of the seal of the cave. And bit by bit did the person inside begin to realize that it would be inevitable that these would escape and something would come in. And they found no other way, no way to strengthen that seal. And so they realized that they must simply embrace themselves, accept that one day this seal would be broken, and that they would have to embrace what came in and release what wanted out. And so they finally realized they must simply prepare themselves for that day. For that day is to come. That day is inevitable. And that day is now. And as they realized that day was now, thus then did the seal crack and splinter and collapse into rubble and dust. And out flew all the things that had been trapped in the cave, out into the bright sunlight that streamed in. And as the cave emptied out and the bright sunlight poured in, blinding the person within temporarily, so bright it was upon their eyes, so used to the dark. Thus with that light did stream in all of the things that wanted to be in. And they flooded into the cave, golden, bright light, sparkling beings of joy and brightness and light and passion and love. And they flooded that cave and surrounded that person and buoyed them up on their current and their wave and their flood of light and love, until the person was immersed and embraced, floating in the center of a cave full of beings of love and light, and their fear melted away, drifted away, and out of the cave they did flow into the light, into the love, into the warmth of the embrace of creation. And in that light and love did they see all the trails and currents and eddies of all the beings they had finally allowed freedom to go on their way. And they looked and saw that everyone found their proper place, and that everyone belonged, and that everyone fit, and that everyone was in harmony and at peace and at home. And they thus then realized that they no longer needed the cave, and the entire cave crumbled to dust and dissolved in the warmth of the flood of the ocean of creation, and was no more, except as a vibration of potential within, but without the need to crystallize, without the need to solidify, without the need forevermore to create darkness and fear. Just an idea that used to be. And so that person, transformed, floated in that everlasting golden sea of love and light, eternally feeling the heartbeat, the heartbeat, the heartbeat, and the vibration of all that is that permeated the totality of that vast, deep, and loving ocean. And they knew, and they knew, and they knew they were home, and they belonged, and that there was nothing to fear ever again. For they are born anew every moment in this sea, with every drop in harmony, in love, in light. Take a deep breath in and breathe in the love and light of the harmony of the new sea of your being, the new crystallization of your spirit, in the new fashioning of your soul, into a shining being of love and light that simply allows all that belongs in and allows all that does not belong the freedom to go. To let go, to let in and let go. With every breath in, you are attracting and allowing attraction. With every exhalation, you are letting go of that which is not yours. And with every breath out, you feel the enlightenment and the weight lifting, and you become light as light itself. Free to be who you choose to be, to take in what you prefer to take in, and let out what is not you. Take a deep breath in and make this your truth. Make this your own. And feel yourself embraced in love and light, your birthright as a cosmic child, vibrating in harmony with the 9 levels of consciousness, passing easily and effortlessly through the 1111 gateway and the crossing of the threshold to become all that you are in the deep sea of the unknown that will become more and more of you, of all that is, together as one in harmony forever and ever and ever. Take a deep breath in and let it sink in. And breathe new life into your world. The heartbeat of creation is within you. Soften your music. Soften your lights. Slowly, slowly. And as you now absorb these vibrations into your being, into your consciousness, allow yourself at any moment that anything transpires in your life to remember to ask, in relation to everything that happens, in relation to everything that happens, what story are you telling yourself about your relation to that thing? What story would you prefer to live instead? What story are you telling yourself? What story would you prefer to live instead? Then live that story and no other. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in and hold it and hold it and hold it and break the seal and blow it out and let love and light rush in to sweep you up in its embrace of unconditional love in a sea of eternity and infinite possibility. For that is what you are. And allow your lights and music to soften further. And as you slowly and very gently allow the lights to return to your room, very softly do you now know you are waking up into a new dawn, a new day, ready for what is to come your way, the new vibration and energy of a new reality. And that the deeper and deeper and deeper you delve, the higher and higher and higher you go into the vibration of 2012. We thank you for allowing yourselves to travel with us on this journey of enlightenment and ascension, and know that the vibration now shall be a wave that you can ride smoothly across that threshold to new explorations, new surprises, new opportunities, and new experiences that are more and more reflective every day in every way of the new you are choosing to be, and the new story that is unfolding from within you, like a flower in a warm, tropical rain. Be refreshed, be at peace. Float upon your sea with action, with love, with balance, with peace. Our deepest appreciation, our deepest gratitude for allowing us to share with you our home as one family. Welcome home. Good day to you all, and good night. Sweet dreams, and wake up and live the dream you prefer to be. Our love to you all.